So let's take a look at Carentan, which is the scenario that I recommended for a new player to start with. We've got everything set up, and I'd like for you to have out your Carentan scenario card to take a look at the setup information. So in the very first turn, the Americans have a 2-5-4 and an 18C4. You can see that's map 18 and position C4 there. We've got a 2-5-4 unit with a BAR and 18B4, which is here, and we've got a 2-5-4 and 18A4 with Major Tom and 18A4. Okay, and on turn 2 we've got some units coming in, and we can organize these any way we want, and on turn 3 we've got some reinforcements coming in also. So that satchel charge is going to be important as far as killing close range stuff. And the machine gun is going to help cover some ground while we try to get across that row H, which is going to be a problem. So turn your scenario card over, and we're going to look at the victory conditions. So the side that controls the most buildings east of hex row H at the end of the scenario wins. To control a hex, you must have a good order MMC or hero in the hex, and been the last side to pass a good order hero through the hex, or have been the last to pass through the hex. Side must control all hexes of a multi-hex building to control the building. The German player owns all the buildings at the scenario start, and if both sides control 5 buildings at the end of the scenario, the Germans win. So look at the special scenario rules. All buildings are level 1, which means we don't have to worry about multi-story stuff. And the important thing is the refuse to loot rules, where the American player gets 9 fate points, which can be used. So at any moment before the German player roll a die, the American can announce that he will add or subtract 1 or 3 of his fate points from the result. Again, not so important in the beginning, but as we get moving closer, this will be important. He can also spend 3 fate points and re-roll a bad result, or have the German player re-roll. And for 5 fate points, at the beginning of any American impulse, the American player may remove all fired, moved, assault moved, low crawl, and ops complete markers from one hex. So that will basically allow one unit to go twice. So let's start with the initiative roll, and we'll do the Americans for the left die roll and the Germans for the red, or the right. So the Americans win the initiative. It's the rally phase, and we have no machine guns to break down right now. And basically we're just going to do a move. So this unit here by himself will activate, and we will move 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And that's it for his turn. And now it's the German player's turn. And he's in cover. So if he moves, if he fires, if he does any action that draws any type of attention from the enemy, he will get a he will lose his cover, or his spotting roll being rolled against him. Right now the Americans would have to roll a 1 or a 2 just to see him. But he's crouched inside the window just waiting for the Americans to advance. So the German player will decide to pass. So now for the next unit, we'll activate. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I'm behind this building here, I feel pretty safe that I can stay there out in the open and not have to worry about any type of attacks. Now the one thing I did fail to mention is the sniper. The German has a sniper player that can be entered into the game on the German player's impulse at any place on the board, but he can't move after he's placed. So you want him in a position where he can cover a wide area, but also remember that if he's once he's placed there, he can't move, and his fire attack is 0. So if he gets into a melee situation, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. The interesting thing about the sniper is he rolls 2 dice against the American player's 1 die versus rolling 1 die, which is pretty key. He can do some serious damage there. So that's what the sniper does. German player has passed, and he won't do anything. German player will pass again. Major Tom comes into the board here. He's got a 2-5-4 with him. He will activate himself and the unit with him. His 2 will add on to the movement rating of his unit that's with him. So we'll do 1, 2, And just for example here, I just wanted to talk about line of sight. So line of sight is center to center, and that tree is blocking. Oops. Let's do a check here when he's there. Okay, so as he moved through that hex here, the German player had the chance to opportunity fire. So let's back out. He's used one of his movement points there, and the German player has decided to opportunity fire. So looking at his unit stack there, the unit has a firepower of 3, but it only has a range of 3, so he cannot contribute to the attack. But the machine gun can fire, and it has a firepower of 3, and adding Captain Weiss's leadership value of 1, that brings him to a 4. So we're going to roll a dice and add 4, and that is bad. So the German player gets 10, and now the American player, who is moving, gets the German player gets a +1, bringing him to 11 because that unit is moving. And Major Tom will roll 1 die, and he rolled a 2. So that's a difference of 9. This is his damage check, and what's going to happen now is that Major Tom has to check for everybody in that stack to get a 6 or less for the units in that stack to see if they pass their morale. So if a good order leader survives his check, he can add his +2 benefit to the other units in the hex. But since the attack is already at a 9, and he's at a 6, it's highly unlikely he'll make it very far in this. So let's roll a die for the leader. And 9 + 6 is 14. And 2 times his morale is 12. So that's 2 times greater. So we're going to look at the chart. And now Major Tom is shaken. Now, of course, I would have never done that in a real game, just because I know how deadly that MG42 is. But I just want to show you that. So now we're going to check for the unit itself. Its leader cannot add on because he's shaken. And we'll roll 5, and 5 + 9 is 14. Again, we've doubled, and we are shaken. Okay, so it's good that we have the leader with us because we have the chance to rally him on the next turn. He's out in the open, which will be a detriment to us, but now he has fired, and everybody who's in the and since he's shaken, they all have to stop. That's the end of the turn. So let's do the end of turn, clearing the admin markers off and going back to the game here. So the American player won the unit last time, so let's do German, American, and the American rolled a 6. He gets the initiative again, and for his rally, he's going to try to rally his leader first. So he's going to roll 2d6, and he rolled less than 6. So now he is not shaken. And he's going to add that +2 to this, so he has to roll an 8 or less for this guy. And so 11 minus 2 is 9. He did not make it. So this unit cannot move forward. He has to move away from the enemy as part of his turn. So the German player doesn't have anything to do unless he wants to, break up. He can dismantle this. Go to bipod mode, which will reduce his firepower down to 2 instead of 3. But he's not going to do that. He's going to stay in that position there. Okay, so now we look at bringing our units onto the board here, which I can't remember which should have happened first. But we're going to drop this guy here, give him a machine gun, and drop this guy down here. That's our turn 3 guys here. Okay, and so the German player will bring his reinforcements on. Okay, so the German players placed his reinforcements onto the board, and we're ready to go. So now it's the American player's turn to move first, and he has 2 movement points. So he's going to go 1, 2 with this leader here, and go moved. And that's it. German player. This unit has a movement rating of 4, has a red box, and can do an assault move, but he doesn't want to do that yet. He can add his +1 from the leader, so his movement is 5. So 1, 2, 3, and he will stop. He's marked as moved. American player. 1, 2, 3, 4. He will stop there. German player. 1, 2, 3, 4. American player. The leader will activate the stack. Add the +1 to movement. Movement is 4 and +1 is 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll stop there. Now it should be in dismantled mode. We can mantle that during the rally phase the next turn if we wanted to stop there and kind of cover this whole arc here of this. But the German player is not going to advance. The whole object is to get this right side of the board here, and we're good for right now. Okay. I think that's it. So if we move there, we're going to be a +1. We'll get a +4 for the building for cover. Might be +3. I think stone buildings have a red marker. Wooden buildings have a red marker. So it's +3 for this building here. If this unit moves here, he will get a move marker. And since the German player really doesn't have any anything else to do after this, because this guy's not going to move in range, we'll go ahead and fire this guy. So we'll do a fire, and the range is 4, so the other unit cannot participate with it. So it's 3 + 1 is 4, plus a die roll. 6 + 4 is 10, plus the fact that he moved is 11 for the German player. Okay, now we get a cover of 3. So it's 3 plus 4. So which is a difference of 7. Alright, so now we do our check on this guy. And do a die roll. Oops. So I'll take the first number. So 5 plus 7 is 12. And 12 is twice his morale rating. Oh, I forgot his defensive terrain. So -3. So it's still more than his morale, so he's shaken. And now I need to find a way to get a leader up there to help him from being shaken. Alright, so the German player is fired. The American player. 1, 2, 3, 4. German player. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing's within range to shoot. He's already shot, but I'm just going to check the line of sight here to see what. So see how it crosses the edge of that terrain there, so we're not able to shoot later for that one. And American player has nothing to do except move this guy and move there. And that is pretty much it, unless the German player wants to bring on the sniper. And just to get that rolling, we'll drop the sniper here, and what we'll do is we'll target 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that a line I set there? Okay, so our range is 7, and we're going to shoot at the unit who's moved, which will give us a +1. So the sniper will roll 2 dice. Okay. American player rolls his 1 dice. +3, which is 8. So 4 to 8. I'm sorry, 5 to 8. Yep. So it was not effective, so he's fired. And he cannot move for the rest of the turn. And so now everybody is moved. If the pass happens in 3 turns, which American player will pass, German player will pass, American player passes again, then that is it for turn 2. We delete the admin counters and we go to turn 3. And then we look at bringing these units in. And that is an example of play of how to do Band of Heroes, just basic infantry.